Hey there. So I'm back from the dead now, I guess. But anyways, I want to show you this video of this new silly game called Ark Survival Ascended has finally released on PC and Xbox, PlayStation being later down the road as of right now. Uh, and I just want to show off some of the gameplay of it because I've been playing for a little bit. I haven't really I haven't really shown most of it or recorded most of it, so most of this is like afterwards and all that, just me doing a bunch of stuff. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoy, and thank you for the current amount of subscribers that we have right now, I guess. So the way that I'm probably gonna do this is I'm just gonna, like, for this chapter, I'm going to kind of do a brief overview on what is Ark Survival Ascended, because somehow I've just been seeing people who are always like confused on like what Ark Survival Ascended is and all that. So I think I'm just gonna take a time for this chapter to kind of explain everything. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, I guess. After reading a quick snippet of the description on the Steam page of Ark Survival Ascended, the way that it's described is Ark Survival Ascended is fucking hell. Ark Survival Ascended is reimagined from the ground up into the next generation of video game technology with Unreal Engine 5. So, in simple terms, this is a remaster of the original Ark Survival Evolved. So this means that it has a bunch of updated stuff. So, first of all, the game actually looks nice now. You can see from the footage that I have here, it looks really nice and all that. And there's also a bunch of other changes and all that, which I'll briefly get into later on. In my opinion, one of the main changes that Ark Survival Ascended brings is the new Dino AI. So as you can see here, that Yudi just walked out of that trap. Where before, it would just make a beeline through that trap to where I am. Now, it will try to go around it. And, you know, this makes it more immersive. Like, oh yeah, like, the creatures can now avoid all this stuff. But then also comes, like, you know, the downside of, well, how are you meant to get this thing into a trap if it knows it's going to get trapped, and that's why it's taking the other way. So like, as you can see here, I'm just struggling to get this Yudi into the trap. After using sheer brute force to get the Yudi into the trap, I finally got it trapped and I started knocking it out. Now, the process here is just the exact same. This is a remaster after all. But the main difference that I noticed between ASA and ASE, its counterpart, is the fact that sometimes trying to reload, it feels really slow compared to ASE. Like, I think in this clip it doesn't look that bad, but in later clips it does feel like it gets worse. And there's also a bunch of other bugs to talk about in this new version of Ark as well. You know, since we're waiting for this Yudi to tame, and I would hope that you're at this part of the video, you should subscribe to the channel. You know, we are one subscriber away from 250 subscribers. So it would make my day if you were to head over and subscribe there. Yes, I'm talking about you specifically. You can be that 250th subscriber. And you know, while you're at it, why don't you follow me on Twitter? Why would you want to do that? So you can hear my god-awful opinions on things over on there, instead of over here, because I don't really like using the community tab. So you should really consider subscribing and going over to Twitter and following me over there. So yeah. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video, I guess. Now, usually, since the Yudi has now been tamed, you can just plop into a cryopod and then just fly back home. But, there's a slight issue. So, cryopods are not available as of right now. So what's happening right now is, so say you want to use the canoe from Genesis 2. So since the canoe isn't available in ASA right now because Genesis 2 isn't available, you have to wait until Genesis 2 is available to be able to get the canoe, and so on for other stuff. Now this links back to cryopods, because cryopods were introduced in Extinction, but since we only have the island right now, we're locked to everything that can only be found on the island. And since cryopods weren't originally from the island, we have to wait until Extinction releases for ASA before we can use cryopods. So now you get this. So now, because of that, you have to walk your creatures back to your base. Now, this can be really easy or really infuriating. For me, it was relatively infuriating because I didn't have a saddle for this thing. So I just had to have it follow me around while I'm on my RG, and I just had to lure it back to base. So we're actually going to the artifact cave here, the artifact of the Sky Lord. If I am correct, why are we heading over here? Just get loot. This is like one of the easiest caves in my opinion. Just go get loot. So, here we are. I'm gonna hope that the frame rate isn't too bad. Okay, I just realized something. I am not getting told when I'm getting hit. What was leave? Where are we going? Back up. This thing is tanky. Can we wear this thing out? Yeah, one second. Dude. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to be doing that cave. Somebody's already there. And that just seems too much of a hassle to just go through. Seems like too much of a hassle, so we'll just deal with that later, I guess. In the meantime, yeah, I was thinking of just going through that cave quickly. Guess not.
Later.
So a few more things that I kind of want to talk about right now. So as you can see in the footage here, the caves, they look a lot nicer now. They look pretty clean. I'm not 100% familiar on what this specific cave looked like, since I never really went into this cave. But the caves all have gotten upgraded looks. They all look different. They're still generally the same layout, but they definitely got a visual facelift. So as you can see here in the cave, you have like all the ice everywhere. You have like the glowing of the light and the ice, the reflections, this nice like shrubbery, and all these rocks kind of everywhere, which make it look even nicer than it already does. So I do like what they did here with all these changes. And continuing on with the footage, I didn't really get too much else in this cave. It was kind of just like trying to go get the artifact, and yeah, so went through, got the artifact, got out, and continued playing the game, I guess. So I know that this clip is a little bit forward ahead, as you can clearly see by me riding a berry right now because I tamed one of those. But I was, doing like just using the berry on a test run, so I just went to the nearby like central cave, grabbed the artifact, and I was on my way out as usual. But then the interesting thing happened here, where so there were two Carnos that were in front of the path, and because of the way that they were aligned, where one of the Carnos was on like their side, it like the tail was just blocking the exit, so I couldn't get out. So I was just stuck inside of this cave for like a number of minutes. I think like around an hour. So yeah, that was like incredibly fun. So you guys get to see me like rot away. I did quite legitimately just stand here for like 30, maybe to an hour, just waiting, trying to get these Carnos to move, or at least waiting for like the owners to come back to move them. So that was fun. Don't worry though, I did eventually get out by just getting lucky and glitching through the Carno tail. So that was nice. And before moving on to the next chapter, I want to bring up this really annoying bug that can happen where if you're riding something, you just get this, where like your camera's stuck inside of your character. You can't do anything. So, and the only cure to that is to either get picked up by a tribe member that on like a bird or something, or the really, really reasonable thing to do here, kill yourself. So, that's fun. So I decided that I was going to expand my base, because here's the thing, you can kind of see it in the background here, but my base is incredibly ugly, like miserable looking. The only reason why I even have a base was because I needed a roof over my head, because this was during the time, because I built it during the time that offline raid protection was disabled. So even if you were offline, stuff could still kill your things. So I just quickly built like this base just to keep stuff safe. And it's worked, but I realize it's mega ugly. So I want to change that, because I don't want my base to be ugly. It's ASA, Unreal Engine 5. I want to make my base look nice. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to I guess play this little montage of everything that I've done so far.